Hello, my beloved friends. Hello. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Father.
I am Father Mateos Vulcanescu from the Archdiocese of the British Isles and Ireland in the Orthodox Church of Antioch. We are here to discuss a very important matter about receiving Orthodox, non-Orthodox into the Orthodox Church based on the canons and our letter that you sent that are very important letters that we send and that we received on this matter about the baptism of the Heterodox. So it's very important for us because it's about salvation.
Yes, Father.
Yeah, exactly. it's about salvation of the soul. So it's not a thing that we just can play with. Yeah, yes. The salvation of the souls.
Exactly, yeah. Father. Yes.
Yeah. I'm happy that first of all, everybody knows that I sent a letter concerning the monophysite, the miaphysite problem, that they mixed the two nature of Christ, made the third nature, the nature of Jesus. So if it is the nature of God, the human nature, and the nature of Jesus. So this is a terrible heresy that was condemned also by Saint John Damascene.
Yes.
So this is very important. We are now, it's very close to Christmas, so everybody is happy today.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to discuss this matter now on this, because we already sent a letter, an official letter, an open letter also to our Metropolitan Silouan, on air.
Yes.
And we had an answer that to put it down.
Yes.
The letter to the Patriarch, because some presbyters, some priests of the Archdiocese, they were not happy. We didn't want to offend anybody. We just want to say the truth,
yes.
the gospel, the truth of the gospel. Because Christ didn't say, He said, go all over the place and baptize everybody. He didn't
yes.
say, go and chrismate everybody. There is
exactly.
no chrismation
yeah.
in the gospel. There is the laying of the hands. Yeah,
yes.
we know. So after that, the story it's continue with we couldn't we comply and we say that yes, we apologize because we didn't want somebody to have to be hurt
yes.
on this, but just to say the truth.
Yes.
So finally we stop the commemoration of our bishop. Sadly, we didn't want to do it, but we must do it based on our conscience.
Yes.
So after that, after 2 days, our Metropolitan deposed me, but we don't, this is a pseudo deposition, is a false deposition, is not working based on the canon 3 of the Free Ecumenical Council. So has no power on us. We remain faithful to the Holy Fathers of the Antiochian Church. We remain faithful to the Antiochian Church. We are in the Antiochian Church.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Father, the letter also stated that it wasn't with the trial or anything. The deposition, the so-called deposition, it was without the trial.
The canons say they must be 6 bishops at least to depose. But of course, now it's the matter that I accuse the bishop for heresy,
yes.
for saying heresies.
Yes.
So this matter must be judged by the synod, and if the synod has also stated heresy, must be judged by another synod, the ecumenical patriarchate synod, and this is going based on the teaching of the Holy Fathers, not based on our own ideas.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So we are not a papist church. Somebody said that when the bishop is the image of the patriarch and the priest is the image of the bishop, it's not like that. This is papism.
Yes, exactly.
So it's not going like that. It's not work like that in the Orthodox Church. We have the Holy Gospel and the Holy Canons. So we must be based on the Holy Canons. Every presbyteros, every bishop, and every patriarch is an image of Christ, in the image of Christ, when they preach Orthodox.
Yes.
When they preach something that is not Orthodox, they are not anymore in image of Christ, and they don't have any power to defraud somebody. Yeah. So this is the idea. Okay, so now I will read the encyclical letter that was wrote by our Archbishop, His Eminence Metropolitan Silouan on Air, London, 16 December 2023. And we will discuss on this. We will read also our answer.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. So, dear in Christ, the fathers of the good God-protected Archdiocese, I have carefully read the letters by Father Matei and Hieromonk Patrick. Is the second letter.
Yes, the supplementary letter that Father Patrick sent with
our letter. Yeah, as a parish, yeah. That support our letter.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And also have received Father Matei's other public statements, in which doubt is cast on whether those received by chrismation are truly Orthodox. Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is the custom of the Patriarchate of Antioch, in common with other patriarchates, to receive converts by either baptism and chrismation or by chrismation only, on a case-by-case basis. Those who enter the Holy Orthodox Church from heretical or schismatical communions, who are nevertheless baptized in water and in the name of the Holy Trinity, are generally received by chrismation, since it is forbidden to baptize twice.
Mm-hmm. This is the clause, this is the statement that is the major heresy here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we don't baptize twice. The baptism is one and is in the church. So there is no, even now the Heterodox, even they don't have the shape of the baptism with free immersions.
Yes.
They don't do the free immersion. They just pour some little water on the head.
Yes.
So, and they said in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Trinity, and maybe one, and maybe some of them, they just put once in the water and they said in the name of Jesus or in the name of the Trinity and nothing else. So this cannot be named baptism, even by form. Yeah.
Yes.
So
exactly.
we have a big problem with that. So they are putting in danger the salvation of these souls.
Yes. So, Father, based on my experience with the Protestants, it's exactly as you said. So, the most Anglicans or Roman Catholics, they sprinkle the child, or an adult even, they just sprinkle.
Exactly.
It's only 3 sprinkles. It's not 3 baptism, because baptism means full immersion in the water.
Yeah, it's what Saint Apostle Paul said, that you can't, you must die with Christ, be 3 days in the tomb, and resurrect with Christ after 3 days. So this is the normality. This is the reality. So this is a very, very questionable statement. Of our Bishop Metropolitan Silouan. So let's go further. This is an established practice across the Orthodox world. Canon 1 of St. Basil the Great includes the statement, inasmuch, however, as it has seemed be best to some of those in the regions of Asia, for the sake of extraordinary concession, that means economy, concession, to the many to accept their baptism of certain heretics, let it be accepted. Antioch. So, we must say something about this.
Yes.
The canon is very big.
Yes, it's a very long canon, wasn't it, Father? We looked at it, and in the earlier part of the canon, actually, it states, St. Basil clearly states that he does not accept heretical baptism. So there is, St. Basil has applied economy in this case, according to the book of the Orthodox Ethos publication on the reception of the Heterodox. Isn't it, Father? Yes,
and there is an economy. There was just for that time, and something very important. Those heretics, they were like today ecumenists. So they have their mind heretic, but they were not condemned. So this kind of receiving at that time was possible because they were not not condemned. So they're like Arius, like Nestorius, they were condemned. But there were many bishops, they were in the Orthodox Church, they baptized, but they had the mind, they have the heretic mindset. And this is the problem. So the Holy Fathers, they talk about heretic mindset. So were not some heretics, they were like today Protestant or Roman Catholics or New Protestant.
Yeah, that are completely unlinked to the church.
Exactly.
They don't know what the Orthodox Church even is.
Exactly. So now there is no case to say we will use economia. That means we will use concession, because there's no need to use concession, because in this way you deprive somebody of the holy grace.
Yes, exactly. And I remember, Father, as we were reading as well, St. Nicodemus was saying that he was saying that if we looked carefully at the situation, most of these people were baptized in the church, and they were received back by chrismation.
Exactly. So this is the idea. So we can't accept this. And also our Metropolitan, His Eminence Silouan, he stated that this was an economy, concession. So concession means that something that you do temporary.
Yes, exactly.
You can't use this for nowadays.
Yes.
This is not any concession today.
No.
Yeah. So it has no base. Yes. So if a bishop just impose that and say you must not baptize them, this is the Papist mentality. So the people are used to have this Papist mentality.
Yes,
Roman Catholic.
Yeah, unfortunately. And also the bishop says in the letter here, extraordinary concession. So it's for extraordinary circumstances.
Exactly. So this is not fulfilled the today circumstances. When we have water, we have a big barrels with water. We can baptize everybody.
We have so much rain in this country. There's enough water for everyone.
Exactly. So there is no problem. Okay. Let's see. Let's go further. Antioch therefore based its practice on no less an authority than our illustrious father among the saints. No, I'm sorry, but this is not what Saint Basil say.
No, it's a complete, it's a misinterpretation of the canon.
Exactly. So we are not Papist again. The bishop can't impose like that. I will say to do that because I say, because I'm the church. No, not just the bishop is the church. The church is the bishop with the presbyteros together in the synchronos and with the lay people. All together they are the church, yeah? So it's the bishop is the sign of the unity of the church, whereas the bishop is the church, but not just by himself. And when he follows the canons and the gospel.
Yes, as he promises at his elevation, at the ceremony of elevation, isn't it? Yes.
Exactly. So this is like you deprive people from the holy baptism when you just say, okay, I am the bishop and I say you must be chrismated, but I want to be baptized.
Yes.
I need to be baptized with the Orthodox baptism. Okay, so let's see. So to sow doubt in this matter, especially to sow doubt about the priest of this archdiocese, is to do the work of the evil one. Wow, who desires to promote discord instead of harmony. That means we that wrote the letters, I and Father Patrick, we are you make the evil one work.
Yeah, this is. The letters are very clear that there were questions asked to the Patriarch, to ask to the Holy Synod, asked to the Metropolitan, what is your position? What's going on? How do you believe? What is it? And this was the unfortunate response.
Yeah, so it's necessary to say that we cease his commemoration after that.
Yes.
We say, I'm sorry, but this is heresy, and we must cease your commemoration. So after 2 days, he said, because you cease my commemoration and you say that I am heretic, I depose you with a letter. Yes. This is non-canonical, has no importance. We remain in the church.
Yes,
we are in the church, and I serve also today Holy Liturgy with the blessing of my spiritual father. That was the spiritual father of St. Paisios from Mount Athos.
Yes.
And he was a disciple of a big saint of the church, that is the Greek church, Augustinos Kandiotis, the Bishop of Florina. So we do obedience, but we do obedience to the Orthodox bishops and to the Orthodox spiritual fathers,
Yes.
but not to those who lead us out of the Orthodox Church.
Yeah.
And out of salvation. So, yeah. So the promotion of discord then is wicked, even if it wrapped in fair and flowing speech. I will not tolerate such division and disharmony in this archdiocese. Let me be clear: the priests and deacons in this archdiocese, whether received by baptism or by chrismation, are true and faithful Orthodox Christians, who serve with my authority and have the protection of my homophorion. So we also answer to this letter and say that we are not in the state to judge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but the canons are very clear. Saint Cyprian of Carthage, he said that those who have no baptism, they are deprived by the Holy Grace. So how can be a priest? So there is also a canon that states that those who were received by from the heretics by chrismation, they can't become priests.
Yes.
So we have this very important problem. So
yes.
My belief is that because those priests who were received like that, but this is my belief.
Yes, Father.
Those priests who are received like that without holy baptism, they can't be presbyteros. They can't. They must at least to go and be baptized by an Orthodox priest, no in public.
Yes.
Yeah, not to be scandalized.
The flock.
The flock.
Yes.
Yeah, but to do this for their own good, for the sake of the shepherds. I know cases in the United States.
Yes.
A priest from Antiochian Orthodox Church. He was baptized in the monastery of. I will not say the name.
Yes.
He's very well known.
Yeah.
It's a very well known priest of the Antiochian Church, American. He was baptized in Arizona by Elder Ephraim.
Yes.
By Elder Ephraim of Arizona, he was baptized, and he now he has the baptism. Yeah,
Yep.
because the first thing that the priest wear on the liturgy, the white, the stiharion,
yes.
means the holy baptism.
Yes.
So if you don't have this, you can't have the Petrahilion, you can't have the Epimaniches, and all the Phelonion and all this.
Yeah.
So it's very, very clear on that. So I have a problem. So if I was a lay person, I will be afraid to go and take communion or be baptized by somebody that I know that he was not baptized.
Yes.
Even there are bishops like that.
Yes, I know it's very unfortunate that we hear all these stories and all these cases, especially in the West, isn't it, Father?
Yes,
it's
exactly.
Very prevalent here.
Yeah, in United States, almost 90% of the so-called Orthodox priests, they are not baptized.
Yeah.
It's a big, huge problem. So now we can't just ignore this.
Yes, and it was the intention and the zeal was for the salvation of everybody, including these people who were received by chrismation.
Exactly. So if something can be done, for example, yes. The bishop can baptize them, yes. And who knows?
It would have been up to his decision.
Exactly.
Resolve, yes.
So it's not we don't judge them, but we say what happened, what is the canon, and what are the concern. I will not go to a priest that is not baptized in the Orthodox Church, that he didn't renounce the heresies. Yeah,
yes.
Because in this way they can't come in the church with a Protestant mindset. So they will be Protestant and they will be shepherds, but where they will lead the flock?
Yes.
It's a problem.
It's very spiritually dangerous for everyone, including themselves and also other people.
Exactly.
Yes.
So based on this, okay, let's see what is here. Who serve with my authority and have the protection of my homophorion. It is my ruling that further promotion of this divisive and incorrect viewpoint should cease immediately, and that all articles, videos, and such like which have been posted on social media or other websites should be removed. Yes, and also I remain your father in Christ, Silouan. This is the letter. Yeah. So yes, because this letter was not an explanation based on the Holy Fathers and Holy Canons. We also made a response.
A response, yes.
Yeah, can you read it?
Yes, Father, I will, with your blessing. So the response was written to His Eminence Metropolitan Silouan on the 17th of December. So it was the day after the letter that Father read. So I will read through the letter now. Your Eminence, with all humility and obedience, I would like to write in response to the letter of Your Eminence to the clergy of our Archdiocese dated 16th December 2023 to bring to your attention that all that we have written regarding the baptism of every heretic coming into the Orthodox Church in our open letter to His Beatitude Patriarch John X and the Holy Synod was done in obedience and in accordance to Canon 8 of the Synodal Decision of the Holy Synod of the Church of Antioch in July 1933, which states that every heterodox who embraces orthodoxy should be baptized. This synodal canon adopted the last official inter-orthodox statement on the reception of heretics, the 1755 Synod of the Eastern Patriarchs held in Constantinople, which requires that all heretics be baptized.
So it's very clear, it's very clear that the last statement of the Church of Antioch, synodal statement, is that everybody must be baptized.
Yes, exactly.
So this practice, this custom, it's against the last, not to baptize, just chrismation, those who are so-called baptized in the name of the Holy Trinity.
Yes.
It's against the last decision of the Synod.
Yes, and it's even in the letter that we read earlier, the letter from the 16th, it says that this is a custom and a practice rather than this is according to the canons and the decisions of the Synod.
So a practice and a custom cannot stand in front of the Holy Gospel and of the Holy Canons and of the decisions of a Synod. Yeah,
exactly.
So you can't just defrock somebody because he didn't want to obey custom.
Yes.
No, this is crazy. Yeah.
To also say that custom related to such an important holy sacrament of baptism is quite surprising, actually.
Exactly.
It should always be according to the canons of the Church, according to the teaching of the Fathers, which is everybody who wants to be baptized should be baptized.
Exactly, of course. Everybody who wants to be baptized, they can come in Liverpool in our parish, and we will baptize everybody.
We have a big
because I'm not deposed. This is not a deposition. No, I'm a canonical priest.
Yes.
These so-called depositions of the Metropolitan Silouan is based on nothing. We cease his commemoration because of heresy, and the Canon 15 say very clear that we must not give importance to any so-called depositions from those who are Church of heresy.
Yes, exactly. And I think the canon also states that because we're not defying bishops, but we're defying pseudo-bishops and pseudo-teachers.
Exactly. So they put themselves outside the church.
Unfortunately.
Metropolitan Silouan put himself outside the church. We are Orthodox. So many Orthodox, they have a Roman Catholic mentality, and they don't understand. We come from Greece.
Yes.
So we have the Orthodox mentality. I was baptized in a childhood in Romania as a Christian Orthodox.
Yes.
So we have the Orthodox. We try to have the Orthodox mentality, not this Papist mentality where the bishop is like a pope and do what he wants.
Yes.
No, this is impossible.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll continue. So, as far as I'm aware, the 1933 Synodal decision is the last official decision, and there is no other later official synodal decisions from the Holy Synod of the Church of Antioch on the reception of heretics. Your Eminence, if there are any other later synodal decisions, I would like to humbly ask to be made aware of them.
Yeah, exactly. Show us another decision.
Yes.
And we will obey.
Yes. You haven't received anything.
Anything.
No,
anything. There is no, like, just take it down from the internet.
Yes.
Because I say like that. This is not normal. It's about freedom. It's about the freedom in the church.
Yes.
It's not like you just obey me. Obey.
Yes.
No. The obedience is based on the gospel. It's based on the holy canons. It's based on the teaching of the holy fathers.
Isn't our whole Orthodox life, Father, is to develop this Orthodox conscience, this phronema in Greek?
The Orthodox phronema, yeah.
Yes. So I'll continue reading,
Yes.
Father? Yes. With regards to clergy and faithful of our archdiocese, who have been received by chrismation only in the past, under the omophorion of your predecessor, my humbleness is not in a position to judge.
Exactly.
With all my love in Christ and pain of heart, I only bring this last synod decision of the Church of Antioch regarding the reception of heretics to the attention of your eminence, for the sake of the salvation of many souls, so that none of the faithful are deprived of the grace of holy baptism.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a serious matter. So it's a very serious matter, because if we deprive them from the holy grace of the holy baptism, we as priests, we made a very big sin. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Shall I continue, Father?
Yes.
Yes. So, Your Eminence, everyone who calls himself a Christian considers the Holy Scriptures to be God-inspired and to contain information about God and about the way people should communicate with Him. There are some communities, however, who adopt beliefs which contradict the Holy Scriptures. These beliefs are called heresies by the Church of the Holy Apostles, that is, the Orthodox Church. The term heresy means choice or option, and denotes the individual choices of some persons or communities who distort the truth that is accepted by the whole congregation of the Orthodox Church. Namely, the supporters of such pseudo-faiths are called heretics. There is a wrong, widespread impression, though, that these terms are contemptuous or that they label someone. However, they obviously do nothing more but to describe a state of being, and by no means are they contemptuous, nor do they label someone.
So to say heretic is not like you say like an injury, like like an insult. It's not an insult.
It's not an insult at all.
Not an insult. It's show a state in the church that you have a problem. It's like somebody that have cancer. They say you have cancer.
Yes.
So this is the reality. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It's very serious. Yeah.
Yes. And according to the Holy Scriptures, the sacrament that paves the way for salvation is baptism, as testified in the Gospel of Mark. He said unto them, Christ said, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned."
Very clear statement of Jesus Christ himself.
Yes, I was reading it. I felt the shivers in my head. This is the power of the words of Christ.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is remarkable that according to the very words of our Savior himself, the genuine redeeming baptism is indissolubly related to the true faith, namely the faith that is in accordance with the gospel which the apostles preached, and that has been kept by the Orthodox Church ever since. So there's a second reference as well, Father, here through the Gospel of Matthew as well. Shall I read
Yes, of course. Yeah.
The above mentioned reference from the Gospel of Mark is in accordance with the Gospel of Matthew. And Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, "All authority has been given unto me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age," which emphasizes the connection between baptism and true faith.
Yeah, it's very clear. So Saint Paisios Velicikovsky, he said very clear, Jesus Christ he said, "Go and baptize all the nations." He never said, "Go and chrismate all the nations." Yes. So this is the statement of Saint Paisios Velicikovsky on this matter. Yes. About the uniats, the so-called uniats.
Yes. This was in Romania, Ukraine.
Exactly. So he said that all the unions, all the Roman Catholics and the unions must be baptized.
Yes.
Yeah, do not be received by chrismation because they are outside the church and there is need to be baptized.
So he's also speaking the line of Saint Cyprian of Carthage, as we mentioned.
Yes, and the line of the Orthodox Church, because this is the line of the Orthodox Church everywhere. Mm-hmm. We know that also the Serbians, the Russians, and they don't they accept those from different confessions without baptism, but this is very bad. Mm-hmm. And this is a practice that was spread, but that not mean that this is okay.
Yes.
And we must be stopped.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I will continue, Father.
Yes.
Yes. In this context, could we actually talk about a redeeming baptism in the case of people who are not Orthodox? It is said that since certain heretics are baptized in the name of, quote, Holy Trinity, their baptism must be valid. But the question is, which Holy Trinity do they believe in? The Roman Catholics or the Papists, for example, believe that the Holy Spirit proceeds not only from the Father but from the Son as well, whereas the Orthodox believe that the Holy Spirit proceeds only from the Father, as Jesus Christ himself teaches, as witnessed in the Gospel of John.
Exactly.
Yes. So the Papists, as well as the Protestants, do not believe in God working in the world through his uncreated energies, which consequently means that they do not believe that the Holy Spirit works through baptism. It is obvious that both the Papists and the Protestants are heretics due to the fact that what they preach contradicts what the Holy Scriptures and the Holy Tradition preach about God and his relationship with mankind. As a result, the separation of those communities from the Orthodox Church is self-evident, since they do not share the original teaching of the Gospel and all the saints.
Exactly. This has happened, and unfortunately we see that also in the Antiochian Church. Now that I was, sadly, I must separate myself and the parish from the Bishop Silouan, yes, from the Metropolitan Silouan, because he did not teach the Gospel and the teaching of the Holy Apostles.
Yes. He's not following, as we say here, the Gospel and all the saints.
And also this was happened and because with this communion with the monophysites.
Yes.
That is another matter, mm-hmm, very, very important.
Yes.
But they just didn't say anything about this. Mm-hmm. We have no answer from the Patriarch, no answer from the Bishop on this matter.
Yes.
Even this is a clear statement, is well known. They have this communion in monophysites, and we can't accept them to come here and say, I want to take Holy Communion, mm-hmm, or not baptize them. No.
Yeah.
Or made mixed marriage.
Yes.
It's against the canons, against the teaching of the Church.
Yes. Again, it's also doing, it's not loving towards these people, these monophysites who are coming, because they might not know the truth, and we tell them and they have to come. If they want to come to the church, they come and be baptized.
Yeah. And this, for example, we do this video for the love of the people.
Yes.
We love them and we want to tell them the truth.
Yes,
not
exactly,
to be just lied by some bishops or some priests and say, oh, it's okay, this is the way that you must be received. No, yes, no. Ask for baptism. Yes. Go there where they baptize you with, yes, free submersion, of course, in the canonical Orthodox Church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Shall I continue?
Yes, of course.
Yes. So, the Orthodox Church has always considered them heretics since they contradict the Gospel and the saints in numerous ways. This means that they do not share the faith that the apostles preached, which is the faith of the Church of Christ. Therefore, their sacraments cannot be the work of the Holy Spirit, and neither can their baptism be valid. The baptism of heretics is invalid and false, as is their entire faith, which unfortunately discredits the Holy Trinity by stating numerous untruths about God and his relationship with his creation.
Exactly. It's very, very clear.
Mm-hmm. So it's not just the external saying the name of the Holy Trinity, because it has to come with the faith, isn't it, Father?
We can't just play theater.
Mm. Yes.
It's not something magic.
Yes.
Just say the formula and it will happen. When somebody is baptized in the Orthodox Church, this is the door of entrance in, yes, the church, in the body of Christ. So if somebody goes to another door, he goes in another body, in another building.
Yes, yes.
He's not going to the Orthodox Church.
Interestingly, Father, I remember that when I was reading some history books about the Protestant groups, they recognized that if in the old days where they were really against each other, they wouldn't allow, let's say, a Methodist or an Anglican. They would rebaptize them. You know, they would because they have that sort of understanding that is to a different faith. So shall I continue, Father?
Yes.
Yes. According to the Holy Canon, starting with the Apostolic Canons, heretics should be baptized since they do not have the true baptism. Also, any clergyman who considers the baptism of any other so-called sacrament of the heretics as valid should be defrocked. Taking into account these specific canons, which are part of the foundations of our faith and which can be easily presented, taught, and understood, any heretic who wants to become a member of the Orthodox Church should and must be baptized.
Yes, this is the reality.
Yes. Should I continue, Father?
Yes.
So, however, some local churches receive heretics into the church, in quote marks, by chrismation only. And also some local churches baptize heretics, while other local churches only chrismate them. Consequently, some claim that because of this variety, it is not really clear who should be baptized and who should only be chrismated. And it has been stated that the present state of affairs should not be changed. That is, it is considered legitimate for heretics to be either baptized or chrismated only. Father, is this? I wanted to ask a question. This sort of practice has come about quite recently, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not been a long-standing practice of the Church to have this kind of multiple receptions.
We have the last statement of the Colivat Fathers and of that say and the Patriarch under the Patriarch Kirill that was every heretic must be received by baptism. So there is no baptism outside the church. So there is no these ideas that feeling grace form and such things. Yes. The grace come when somebody let his heresy and become Orthodox.
Yes.
So the original way is holy baptism. So if they were made some economia, was some economia at that time, but for a certain heretics that they are not exist anymore. We don't have it today. No. Those heretics, those time 1,600 years ago.
Yes.
We don't have it today.
Yes.
So what kind of economia we can do? Economia, what kind? We can't do economia.
Yes. Shall I continue, Father?
Yes.
Yes. However, this claim is totally inadequate and unacceptable for the Church of Christ. The Holy Canons state that if it is not clear whether someone has been baptized, then the person should be baptized, so that they would not be deprived of the armor of salvation. This is the reasonable thing to do, following the principle of caution, and even if the Holy Canons would not have clearly prescribed this, we should still have been led towards such conclusions and practice, out of the care for the salvation of our neighbor.
So, yes, somebody asked us, so what church will you belong to from now on? It's a good question. I belong to the Orthodox Church of Antioch. I just stopped the commemoration with our bishop, and this is something very normal to happen in the Orthodox Church. It was all the time, all over the time in the history of the Church, when a bishop preach an heresy or a synod preach an heresy, the priests and the lay people, the priest stopped the commemoration of the bishop that he belongs to, but he remain in that church. So we will die in this church. We are in the Church of Antiochia. We are in the Archdiocese of British Isles. So we are here in this church. We don't go anywhere. Yeah, we don't make schism. We just stop the commemoration. Like Saint Paisios, the Atonite, made with he goes to a priest and he goes to the monasteries. They stop the commemoration of Patriarch, that time Patriarch Athenagoras, that lifted the anathema. So we had this practice in the church. When you remain in the church, you don't go anywhere. Yeah, You don't do a different altar. No, you just remain in a church, but you don't have any communion with those bishops and patriarchs and lay people that accept and support the heresy. So the Orthodox Church of Antioch is Orthodox, but the bishops, the patriarch and all this, they can preach heresies. They are in the WCC. So there is a difference between what means the Christian Orthodox Church of Antioch, that can have a lot of people and monks and priests and maybe bishops also. They can be very Orthodox with an Orthodox mindset, and we are in communion with them. And and also they can be another part that have an ecumenist mindset, and we have no communion with them. We separate ourselves from them, not from the church. Yeah, this is a very important matter, that we separate ourselves from these bishops and these priests that are with an heretical mindset, not from the Church of Antioch. And even the bishop, he made a letter that said, you are deposed because of the canon free from the free ecumenical synod. It states very clear that if the bishop has an heretical mindset and he defrauds you because you are Orthodox, you must not take into consideration this defraud. No, you just go and make Holy Liturgy and baptize and everything in the Antiochian Church. Even they excommunicate you, they can do anything what they want, is nothing available. You remain in the chain, in the apostolic chain of Saint Apostle Peter and Paul in the Antiochian Orthodox Church. This is very, very important, dear Oliver. So this is important to know, that we don't recognize any deposition. We don't recognize such things. This is, how we can say...
this is invalid.
Yeah, this is invalid. This is invalid. This is pseudo.
Yes.
Pseudo.
It's a false action.
It's a false deposition.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not based on canons. It's not based on nothing. Yeah. Would you say that this is a similar situation to Father Peter Hirsch? No, it's not a similar situation with Father Peter Hirsch, because what I understand is that at this moment, Father Peter Hirsch, nobody say that he belonged to this church or to the other church. But our situation is that we are in the Antiochian Church. We stopped the commemoration of our Bishop Silouan. So we are in this church. So I think that Father Peter Hirsch at this moment, he's in a difficult situation, because he don't belong to, nobody say he belonged to us and we defraud him. This and he stopped the communion. He did not belong now at this time to anybody, but hopefully he will belong to somebody, if somebody will take him in one of the church, because at this moment it is a little problem. But in our situation, the things are very clear. So we are in the Antiochian Church. Yes, we are in the Antiochian Church. We don't go anywhere. We don't commemorate other bishop instead of Metropolitan Silouan. We just stop his commemoration. We don't commemorate his name in the Holy Liturgy. But we do Holy Liturgy. We perform baptism. We perform wedding. We perform funeral and everything. We perform Holy Confession, yes, and everything. So this is based on the canons of the church. The same thing Saint Gregorios Palama does the same thing. Yeah, he was defrocked by the Patriarch Kaleca, but he continued to serve liturgy in the houses. Yeah, in Mount Athos. So this is very, very clear. We are on the path of the Holy Fathers. So those who has another mindset that is not Orthodox, they made themselves their own church. We are in the Orthodox Church of Antioch, but those, it doesn't matter that they are bishops, they are patriarchs, they are archbishops, they are metropolitans. If they don't have the Orthodox mindset, They build their own church. They go out of the church. We remain in the church. We represent the church, the Orthodox Christian Church of Antioch. So we remain faithful to the Holy Fathers of the Antiochian Church. So there is no problem to let's say that because we have a wonder, yeah.
Yes.
In the day that we ceased the commemoration, that was 20 December. Yeah.
Yes.
In the morning, 21 December, 21 December, I come in the church. Our church is a little place. It's like a chapel, yeah, in a tiny house. But it's enough for 10 people, 12 people, 20 people. They are coming in the Holy Liturgy. So I was very mourning because I stay all night to write the letter for ceasing the commemoration of our bishop. So I come in the holy altar of our church. And I go, the evangel is on the holy table. And I was there and I made the sign of the cross and I go to kiss the cross, the resurrection cross, that is on the
gospel.
On the gospel.
Yes.
And when I kiss, a smell coming from the middle of the cross. Yeah. A smell that was exactly like the smell of the holy relics of Saint Spiridon, but 10 times powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. And they were like little sprinkles, droplets
yeah.
of oil that was coming from the evangel.
So the myrrh-bearing gospel.
Exactly, the myrrh-bearing gospel that shows us that we are on the right road, on the right path in the church of Antioch. So, do not confuse that because a bishop wrote, "Oh, you are defrocked," that we are defrocked. No, we are not defrocked. No, we don't recognize such things from heretics. No, ever. So Christ saying, no, you are not defrocked. So do not make the mistake to say that, oh, you need the bishop. Oh, you need to go to maybe to some
different jurisdiction
or schismatics.
Yeah.
No, ever. No, this is not correct. We must not go anywhere. We must follow the Holy Fathers. So we remain in the Antiochian Orthodox Church, in the Patriarchate of the Antiochia, in the Orthodox Archdiocese of the British Isles and Ireland here in Liverpool. Because you know something, when even they don't recognize us and they say you are excommunicated,
yes.
that not means that you are excommunicated. Because God didn't listen to the tyranny, the tyrants.
Yes.
When somebody is tyrant, God didn't listen to the tyrants. This is stated by whom? By Saint Dionysius Areopagitis.
Yeah, the Areopagite.
Exactly, the Areopagite. And of Saint Maximus the Confessor. Never God listened to those tyrants. Look, the Pope, he was Orthodox, but he became an heretic. So, all the people, they were just obeying to the Pope. So they were led to
leave the church.
To leave the church.
Yeah.
They were led to leave the church. So there exists a bad obedience and a blessing unobedience, because it's what when the apostles in the Act of the Apostles, they were like they said it's forbidden to talk about Christ.
Yes.
The synagogue.
Yes.
And what the apostle respond? It's better to listen God rather to listen people.
Yes. Better to heed the voice of God than to heed the voice of men.
Exactly. So what we can do, we remain in the church, we do Holy Liturgy, we don't stop make the Holy Liturgy, we don't commemorate the name of the bishop,
yes.
In the Holy Liturgy. There is no exist anymore, the name. We fence ourselves from the heresy, but not from the church, not from the Antiochian church. This is very important to say.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue with the baptism.
Father. So, only the Orthodox who denied Orthodox teaching by joining the heretics and returning to Orthodoxy are chrismated after confessing and abandoning the heretical doctrines. The sacrament of chrismation restores the gifts of the Holy Spirit that they received at their first chrismation after baptism, which left them when they cut off their relationship with God by accepting heretical doctrines. Straight after chrismation, they receive Holy Communion, approaching Jesus Christ again after being separated from him due to heresy. So far, this is the only situation where somebody is chrismated.
Because he was already baptized in the Orthodox Church.
Yes.
So you don't re-baptize them because they were... But to recognize baptism outside the church, this is heresy. And it's so-called the baptismal theory. That was as a basis of the participation of the Orthodox churches into the WCC, the World Council of So-Called Churches. In the Toronto Statement, 1950.
Yes, I think it was section 3.3 we read.
Section 3.3 that says that we recognize one each other the baptism. Mm-hmm. So this is outrageous, this is heresy. This is heresy, and a very big heresy. Together with the reception of monophysites without baptism and putting communion without going... communion with the Miaphysites.
Intercommunion and concelebration.
Yeah, intercommunion and concelebration. The second thing, it's about the holy baptism.
Yes.
So we have two very big problems that made us, force us, don't say force, but we, on our free will, we just stop his commemoration on this.
Yes. On the contrary, in the case of a heretic who was never part of the Orthodox Church, it is obvious that chrismation has no meaning since they have never been members of the Orthodox Church. As members of another so-called church, in fact a heretical denomination, whose sacraments are void, neither their baptism nor their chrismation are valid. Therefore, in their case, chrismation cannot, quote-unquote, somehow replace baptism, and anyone who claims such a thing ignores the role the sacraments play in a person's life and the life of the Orthodox Church. The sacrament of chrismation offers to the baptized, with the true apostolic baptism into the Orthodox Church, the gifts of the Holy Spirit for the benefit of the person and the community. It neither restores human nature nor replaces baptism. One cannot replace Holy Communion and the Holy Liturgy with chrismation. The holy sacraments are not interchangeable. Not even Holy Communion, the highest form of union with Christ, can replace the other sacraments, since every sacrament has its own unique place, time, meaning, and purpose in the Church, as taught by the Holy Spirit.
Exactly. So the whispers, because this is the last word of Metropolitan Silouan, the whispers of division that come only from hell. So the gospel is coming from hell? No. Yeah.
Should I continue, Father?
Yes.
In support of chrismation of heretics instead of baptizing them, some invoke the 47th Apostolic Canon forbidding the repetition of baptism, but without taking into account the fact that the same canon decrees that the priest who does not baptize those who receive their so-called baptism from heretics should be defrocked. In other words, as also shown in the commentaries to this canon, it forbids repetition of the authentic, valid Orthodox baptism in the Orthodox faith, in the Holy Trinity as stated in the Creed, and in the form triple immersion.
Exactly.
It is also said that since chrismation of unbaptized heretics has become a widespread practice, this should be considered acceptable. But this argument is certainly not right, in the sense that if we accept this, then we should also accept that just because at certain times in history heresies became widespread, therefore heresies should have replaced the Orthodox faith. However, what really happened in those days was that God strengthened certain people to fight against heresies and overcome them. The Holy Spirit himself worked through those people and strengthened them while the majority wandered away from the truth.
Exactly. So that means if the ecumenism is widespread in the Church of Antioch, that not mean that this is the orthodoxy.
Yes.
And this must remain. No, we will remain faithful to the Orthodox faith in the Church of Antioch.
Yes.
And we will represent the Church of Antioch.
Yes. Because I can't remember which saint, Father, that said where the true faith is, that's where the church is.
Exactly, Saint Maximus the Confessor. Yes, even is one person that is with the truth. It's
he's the church.
There is the church.
Yeah,
there is the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in this one also refers also to the case of Saint Maximus, wasn't it? Because in his time it was a very widespread heresy.
Exactly.
Yes.
In the Byzantine Empire.
Yes. Yeah. Shall I continue, Father?
Yes.
Yes. Besides, the argument that if something is performed by the majority of people is the right thing to do, this may lead us to think that perhaps we should become pagans, since the majority of people are pagans. Another argument of those who claim that chrismation of heretics is equated to baptism is that chrismation is the result of economia or economy, as opposed to akrivia, exactitude, that heretical so-called baptism is accepted by the Church by means of economia. But what exactly do we mean when we refer to economia and akrivia in the Church? Akrivia means using the formally valid canons. Economia means tolerance regarding the temporary, exceptional adaptation of the tradition for the spiritual benefit of persons who find themselves in exceptional situations. One can define economia as the expression of the church akrivia in specific and pastoral and missionary situations.
Exactly. So the economia means that you try to this is just temporary. Mm-hmm. You can't just make the rule from economia, or you can't just make a dogma from economia.
Yes.
You can't just based on the economia to say we will receive all the Anglicans and all the Roman Catholics by chrismation. No. We will receive by holy baptism everybody. And if somebody is ill, we can spread 3 times water on him, and after that give him the laying of the hands and the chrismation as the gift of the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
Yes. So, in other words, akrivia is the rule, whereas economia is the exception. Economia is applied only in special occasions for a good purpose in unfavorable circumstances. True economia involves a soteriological or salvation purpose and leads to the true faith, despite any obstacles. On the other hand, a false understanding of economia does not lead to true faith, but because by making an unwise adjustment to the holy tradition and thus not following their inherent order, one ultimately defies them and actually leads one far away from the Orthodox faith.
Exactly. So, if a false interpretation of the canons lead to the non-salvation of many.
Yes.
They come in the church, they believe they are Orthodox, but they are not Orthodox. Remember the case of Seraphim Larsen?
Yes, Father, yes.
It's astonishing. This case of Seraphim Larsen, that he was just chrismated and he was demonized, and he came in Romania, in my origin country, and he was baptized there, and the demon get out, and in the water of the baptism, when the priest said, in the name of the Father and of the Son, he saw Christ in the water of the baptism.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Glory to God.
But after that, the bishop that received him by chrismation excommunicate him. But what are we interested in, the excommunication of people?
Yeah.
When Christ embraces us.
Yeah. Should I continue?
Yes, of course.
For instance, the perspective of economia, from the perspective of economia, the holy canons allow the accommodation of animals inside a church building. If, for example, they carry heavy loads and people might be in danger, or when the animals might be injured or killed by a storm or by wild animals. However, apart from these specific circumstances, it is considered a desecration for animals to enter a church building. Another example is the administration of Orthodox baptism by pouring sanctified water on the entire body of a person lying in bed, where triple immersion is not possible because of his or her illness. Here we have an adjustment of baptism which is completely necessary in this specific circumstance, so that if the person dies, he or she would not go to hell. On the contrary, the case of not baptizing a heterodox who is not ill, who has nothing to prevent him or her from being baptized in the rightful order of the church and the canons, is not considered economia, but disorder.
Exactly. This is disorder.
Yes.
So we are sorry for Metropolitan Silouan, but he just made a mess with the canons and everything.
Yes, it's very
It's not enough to be a bishop. You must also be faithful to the canons. It's not like a papist. I said finish and you just obedience.
Yes.
What kind of obedience? We want to obey, but to obey the canons of the church. Not just when the bishop is against the canon of the church, it's your duty as a presbyter not to obey to him, because otherwise, if you obey him, you go both in hell. Yeah.
Wow, it's very serious.
Yes, it's very serious. Yeah.
Turning this disorder into rule leads to schism and heresy.
Exactly.
Regardless of the times in which we live as Orthodox Christians, we should respect the holy tradition, and we should always listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit as expressed through the Holy Scriptures and the Holy Tradition. The Holy Trinity does not contradict himself, and he provides us with every means of salvation, so that everyone has the same opportunity for salvation in whichever era they live in. Salvation depends on the holy sacraments, and the teaching of the Church about the sacraments is quite clear and cannot be revised or adjusted. Trying to, quote, revise or adjust them is only an indication of either ignorance or unbelief of the people who do so. The 47th Apostolic Canon states, "Let a bishop or presbyter who shall baptize again one who has rightly received baptism."
Exactly, rightly received baptism.
"Or who shall not baptize one who has been polluted by the ungodly heretics, be deposed." Polluted in the sense of the baptism of the false baptism.
So it's very clear that if a priest receives somebody and recognize his baptism and just chrismate him, he must be deposed based on this canon.
Yes.
Because he's obliged to baptize the Roman Catholic, the Protestant,
yes,
the Anglican or Monophysite or whatever.
And a bishop or presbyter who shall not baptize one who has been polluted, i.e. the heretical baptism, by the ungodly, be deposed as despising the cross and death of the Lord, and not making a distinction between true priests and false priests.
Exactly. So the canon, this is apostolic canon.
Yes.
Michael. So we can't just ignore the apostolic canon. Yeah, This is apostolic canon. So say you can't recognize the baptism of the heretics. It's very clear.
It's clear.
It's clear. Yeah.
There's no doubt in this.
There's no doubt. So this is coming into the against
it. Contradictory.
It's contradict this letter of the bishop. So this contradict this letter of the bishop. So the bishop become heretic. So it was necessary to cut his commemoration, remaining in the church, in the Antiochian church.
Yes, Father. Shall I continue?
Yes.
According to the provisions of the fathers, we can also decide when children have no trustworthy witnesses who can undoubtedly testify about their baptism. Since children themselves cannot answer whether they were given the holy sacrament of baptism or not, due to their immaturity, that these children should be baptized, so that there will be no doubt about their baptism, and consequently, they would not be deprived of holiness. Therefore, if there were synods that stated that heretics accept heresy against the Holy Trinity may be received by chrismation only, three things should be made clear according to the point of view of some theologians. Such canons seem to have been applied to some who were already baptized, but fell into heresy, and then returned through the confession of faith and the sacrament of Holy Chrismation. If it were not so, Saint Basil the Great pointed out that this is not the exactitude or acrivia of the Church. No ecumenical synod can impose a canon that is contrary to the apostolic canons.
It's clear.
The foundations.
Exactly, the foundations.
Which state that every heretic should be baptized. The ecumenical canons, in order to claim the ecumenicity, must not be contrary to the apostolic canons.
Exactly.
A canon, in order to be called ecumenical, has to express the dogma of the Church. The Synod of the Eastern Patriarchs held in Constantinople in 1755 under the chairmanship of the Kolivadis Patriarch Cyril V of Constantinople, and the spiritual guidance of Saint Auxentius, the new wonder worker, who had a divine vision in this regard, decided to receive all the heterodox by holy baptism.
So this is the last pan-Orthodox, inter-Orthodox decision.
That is still valid today.
That is still valid today in all the Orthodox Church.
Yes.
So we don't go on customs because and why, and we must respect this last decision.
Yes.
That is pan-Orthodox on us. Yeah.
Yes. Economia or economy is temporary. Its role is to lead back to exactitude or akrivia. The seventh canon of the Second Ecumenical Synod is by economy. The Church cannot refuse baptism to those who want it, whichever confession they may come from. Dogmatic minimalism, explicitly fought against by St. Maximus the Confessor, of which the relativist quote-unquote baptismal theory is a part of, affirms that if someone takes part in heresy is baptized, someone that takes part in heresy is baptized in the name of the Holy Trinity, that person's baptism is valid. Thus, the person is a member of the Church. Is completely against patristic thinking. One cannot be inside and outside the Church at the same time. Baptism is not an act of magic and with magical effects. So the baptismal ritual itself is not grace-filled if it is not performed by a priest of the Orthodox Church, with the confession of the Orthodox faith and a renunciation of heresy where applicable. For example, when referring to Canon 7 of the Second Ecumenical Synod, St. Nicodemus the Hagarite explains that economia was used to receive those heretics by holy chrismation because of political issues in order to save an entire people.
Exactly.
At that time, the reception of those heretics was valid, but now those reasons no longer exist. Most of the contemporary heretics being received by chrismation believed that their heretical so-called baptism was valid and have a syncretic ecumenist thinking and thus failing to understand orthodoxy.
Yeah, this is very important because there are many people, they are coming not with the proper catechism, learning the Orthodox Church for 1 year, 2 years, and they have the Protestant, the Anglican mindset, for example, or Roman Catholic mindset. And they believe they become Orthodox because they like the icons.
Yeah.
They don't understand that they were out of the church and now they enter in the church. They have this idea that, oh, it was okay, but now it's more beautiful. I like the icons. I like the vestments of the priest, or I don't know, I want to be a priest. So this is bad because they didn't understand. They let the hell and they come to heaven.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, this is very, very important.
Yeah, so they keep that. Keep the baggage because they think, well, they accept my so-called baptism.
Exactly. So no, it's not like that. We don't accept any baptism outside the church. Mm-hmm. Based on all the tradition of the church, the Holy Fathers and the Holy Gospel.
Yes. Yeah. I'll continue. So the first canon of Saint Basil the Great and the position of Saint Cyprian of Carthage, as expressed in the local synod of Carthage in 258, prescribed the baptism of all heretics coming into the church. This has been adopted at an ecumenical level through the second canon of the Trullan Quinisex Synod, which means that it is applicable for the entire church.
Exactly. So it's for sure that we baptize everybody who comes out from the church. Yeah.
Yes. There's no ambiguity. There's nothing.
Nothing.
It's very clear.
It's very, very clear.
Yes.
So all the letter of deposing and all these things, they are pseudo letters, pseudo deposing, and has no power in the church. Yeah, it's because we are not a papist church where some people with power decide. Is based on the Orthodox Church is based on the holy canons, on the Holy Gospel, on the Holy Fathers of the Church. And we have this possibility that used already to stop commemoration, to be in the church, to fence ourselves from the heretical bishops, but to remain in communion with every Orthodox that have Orthodox mindset in the in the Church of Antioch, and we are in the Church of Antioch forever.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael, for everything.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you that you listen to us. This is very important. If you want to spread this video, this live to everybody, if you have loved ones who wants to listen about the importance of the baptism, it is very important to be everybody to be baptized in the Orthodox Church. So don't just obey to some bishops because they said I said that because I'm the bishop. Who are you? You are in the chair of the apostles when you learn the Orthodox things. When you don't learn the Orthodox things, you are not anymore in the chair of the apostles, but you become a pseudo bishop and a false teacher. So this is the Canon 15. I know that many people they don't know. I am a disciple of Father Georgios Metalinos, a well-known scholar of theology, of Father Theodorosisis, that is the biggest patrologian in the world today, and of Mr. Dimitrios Selengidis, that learn me all these things, and I try to express also with all love, to share with you all this experience, because this is the experience of the Church. Do not be foolish by the idea that, oh, Father Matthew was defrocked and he's not a priest anymore. This is not true. I am a priest. My priesthood is working. We see with the miracle.
Yes. Confirmation
yes,
from Christ.
Exactly. It's the confirmation from Christ himself, and we need the confirmation of Christ, not the confirmation of the people. And those who say that I'm not a priest anymore, they made a sin against the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
That is not forgivable. So even the bishop, he made a sin against the Holy Spirit when he sent the letter of deposing me. So I'm sorry for them, but this is very hard for them. I love them. I love them with all my heart. I want them to be enlightened and to understand the truth of the Holy Gospel, because we don't want to lose anybody. So how I wrote also in the letter of ceasing the commemoration, we wait for his repentance, and to wrote that he anathematized the monophysite position.
Yes.
Yeah, and
the heretical baptismal theory.
Exactly, and
ecumenism.
The ecumenism. So, and we will restore the commemoration, his commemoration. So we want to restore his commemoration. We love him. We want all best for him, not to remain in this stage of heresy and stage. Oh, this is the demonical stage that come from hell. Mm-hmm. So thanks God. God bless you all. Goodbye.
Good evening.
Good
Bye.
evening.